Good evening. Good evening, everyone. It is Working Wednesday. Time for us to get started with our live broadcast tonight. I am excited about tonight's show. I'm excited about about our guest tonight, Coach Peaches Coates. We started over in our IBG Writers Group with a candid conversation with developing strategies around our book. So we are continuing that conversation over here. For you, our listening audience, we're going to go ahead and roll right into our starting point tonight. For those who don't know me or are new to me, I am Audrea V. I am author, 8-time published author, and also the operating manager of IBG Publications. Good evening, Selena. Good evening, Dr. Clark. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am the owner and operator of IBG Publications. We are a publishing company. We assist authors with marketing, publishing, and coaching. So if you are an author out there or you're a potential author, want to get your book done, join us over in the IBG Writers Group. Join us over there. Good evening, Karen. Good evening, Destiny. I see everyone's rolling in tonight. Good evening, ladies. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you are an aspiring author, meet us over in our IBG Writers Group. We are doing great things over there, helping authors get their books done and also marketing books. So today we started a candid conversation about developing products around your book. Think outside the book. So let's jump on into the show tonight. I want to start off with our business portion, which is acknowledging our sponsors. Good evening, Coach Peaches. We'll be bringing you on shortly. Want to get our preliminaries out the way. We want to acknowledge our business sponsors. First business that sponsors this particular broadcast is the Second Shots Photography that is owned by Edward Hurd, my brother. He is an astronomical wedding event lifestyle photographer out of Houston, Texas, but he does travel. He travels all over the world, y'all, from Puerto Rico to Ohio, Florida, South America. He done been some of everywhere. Contact him on the web, www.secondshotsphotography.com. Reach out, get your photography needs met. I promise you will not be unhappy. You'll be happy. Next, we want to acknowledge T's Vinyl Creations and more for all of your t-shirt, mug, and carry bag needs, cups, everything. She's got it. Reach her on her Facebook page. That is T's Vinyl Creations and more on her Facebook page. Or you can contact her, T's Vinyl Creations @gmail.com. Next, business owner, Nadira Lewis. Name of her business is Woman of Proverbs. Woman of Proverbs is a phenomenal social app where you can actually go in, download the app. You can look at faith-based movies. You can interact with other people on the platform. She has a special portion in there called Wisdom TV, where you can actually go in and listen to motivational speaking. You know how sometimes you're going through the day and it gets hard, you need a word. You go into that app and you can plug in to someone who's giving an encouraging word. I am partnering with Nadira, and we are going to do a healthy lifestyle portion podcast. So it's just all kind of rich information over there. You can shop. You can get the word. She's got the portion where you can read the word of God. So it is just a phenomenal app. Support our women-owned, black-owned businesses. Next on our business sponsor sheet is Yvonne Shea Makeup Artistry. She is out of Houston, Texas. If you're looking for a makeup artist for your weddings, lifestyle photo shoots, makeup parties, you want to get your ladies together and just have a great time, do up your face. Ladies, when we put our makeup on, y'all know we be feeling some kind of way. We be thinking we cute, you know. You feel just so different when you have that makeup on and you have a glow. So contact her. Her contact information, 832-516-2428, or by email, yvonneshay@gmail.com. Next is Fats Clothing. Fats Clothing will be celebrating their 3-year anniversary with a fashion show in the city of Atlanta. Reach out to them on Instagram @Fats Clothing. That's PHATZ Clothing on Instagram, or fastclothingforyou@gmail.com. Support that business if you're in the Atlanta area. They just posted some pictures of their new clothing that they just put out. So support our businesses. Get in the Atlanta area. Go check out that 3-year anniversary. Next, Chris Benton, the firstcoastlife.com. It's a website if you're in the Jacksonville, Florida area. It is a website where you can go and have your business listed so that it gets traffic and people can start looking at your brand and your products and what you offer. So go check out firstcoastlife.com. We also have Brenda Cherry, independent Mary Kay consultant. You can reach her on her website. Her website is marykay.com, B-E Cherry. That's marykay.com, B-E Cherry. Or 904-697-9578. If you are a makeup wearer or you want to get good skincare products, you can contact her. She'll get a special, they do a whole package around what your skin needs are, whether you are oily or dry skin or whatever the case may be. Get over there, contact her. She'll get you a good skincare regimen together so that you can start flushing your skin out. You start from the inside by drinking water, but then on the outside, those products can help keep your skin glowing. Next business owner, David Emmanuel, has the Unity Over Beliefs product line. You can reach them on the web, spreadshirt.com/unity-over-beliefs-. Go there, purchase some products. His whole goal and mission is to help unite us beyond our religious denomination separations, to come together and have a conscious conversation about what's going on in our communities, okay? Last on the list, and then we're going to get our guest on tonight. Last on the list is Country Apple Apparel. And the Country Apple Apparel is a website for plus-size women. Y'all, I'm trying not to be distracted, but I'm looking for something I can't find right now. But the Country Apple Apparel is for plus-size women. The website is countryappleapparel.com. Go on there, purchase you some clothes, support our lady-owned businesses. Y'all know I'm a big supporter of women-owned businesses. So go on there, support her, and purchase you some clothes, okay? So now we got our preliminaries out the way. We're going to go ahead and get geared up for our guest to come on tonight. I'm so excited to have her on. I want to go ahead and introduce our guest once I get her on. Y'all got my printer going. But I want to go ahead and get our guest on tonight. That's going to be Coach Peaches. So let me go ahead and add her on, and then we'll do a brief intro to get her on. So y'all hang on tight. We are adding our author on tonight. That will be Coach Peaches, getting her on tonight. Good evening again. Good evening. Hello. Welcome, Coach Peaches, to the Working Wednesdays broadcast. We're so glad you're on with us tonight. Good evening to those that are joining us live. I appreciate your presence tonight. Good evening. Good evening. At the end of the show, we do go back and acknowledge our guests because I appreciate you all coming on listening with us tonight. And I just want to give a very brief introduction for Coach Peaches. I go between calling her Coach and Prophetess because sometimes I need a word, sometimes I need to be coached. So I go back and forth. When I call her Prophetess, I'm pulling on the prophet. When I call her Coach, I'm pulling on the coach. So I want to give a brief introduction of her tonight. She is a single mother of 3 beautiful daughters that made the decision to enjoy life in her God-given abundance. Prophet Peaches has served in entrepreneurial business and ministry for over 30 years. Awesome. You beat me. I'm only 20. Founder of in the world. Okay, just had a little technical difficulty. She's been in ministry for over 30 years. She is the founder of Life on the Wall Ministries and the Single Mom Survival Club. You can find both of those in Facebook. Two awesome groups you can become a part of, where she has endeavored to bring kingdom work, prayer, and business together for greater wealth. Y'all gonna hear a lot more about that tonight. Not only is she a mom, she is a servant of God, she is a serial entrepreneur, but she's a coach, mentor, ministerial, inspirational leader, business strategist. She can definitely get you some business strategy, y'all. She's kind, loving, considerate, and she loves to smile. That is all so true. See that beautiful smile coming through? So,
Thank you. Thank
everybody,
you.
send out some hearts and likes for Coach Peaches. Coach, we're going to jump right on in. Before I jump into our lineup tonight, what would you like to greet? How would you like to greet our viewers tonight, Coach Peaches? Come on, talk to the viewers.
Well, good evening, everyone. So, as she stated, I'm Coach Peaches Coach. I am the founder of the Single Mom Survival Club and the Single Mom Entrepreneurs Association, along with Life on the Wall Ministries. And busy moms hired me to help them chart a course to change the dynamics of their lives back to abundance and overflow. And we achieve this through shifting the mind and creating goals and plans while implementing kingdom principles. So that's basically what we wrap it up to do. I specialize with single mothers. However, so many other people still come forth, but single mothers has just been my biggest passion because I've been a single mother for over 27 years, as she stated. And so tonight I'm excited to be here, ready to rock and roll. Good evening, Brenda. Good evening,
Yes,
everyone that's here. I saw Olivia,
I
which is
saw
my
that.
daughter, that was on here. And I saw a few other people and Kenneth and a number of people. And I just thank each and every one of you for coming out. This is going to be great. IBG Publications is doing some
Yes,
great things in the community, in the
yes,
spirit realm, in ministry, and but most of all in
yes,
the business mounting. We are
yes.
taking over. So this is absolutely exciting. So thank you, God. And thank you so much for having me. This is Apostle Audra. And so I just do this, but she is so amazing. I know this is her show, but she's so amazing. Being the apostle that she is and a business coach and strategist herself, I just absolutely love our host on tonight because she just goes above and beyond for people. Everyone doesn't always appreciate it, but the majority of us really do. We appreciate every moment that you take, every additional time, every additional time frame that you take to speak with authors to be able to help them go forth in their business. Every birthing session that you offer to be able to
Yes.
get them up and moving, because that is amazing. And then they come out of there with all kind of strategic plans and goals. My
Yes.
God is doing some amazing things. So I'm appreciative to be on tonight.
Amen. That was
Amen.
an
I'm
awesome
sorry. Go ahead.
introduction. You made me smile, and I needed to smile
Thank you.
today. I really did. Thank you so much. And that what you did
You're
was a friend.
welcome.
I don't want to cry, but you just operated as a friend to me because you know what I'm going through behind the scenes. So that was my friend
That's right.
that just came through for me, y'all. I just need y'all to know that. But I saw your daughter said, and my mom. So blessings to
Yes.
everybody who is joining on to support Coach Peaches. I'm so glad you're here. Excuse me. Let's jump right on in. So, first question, what inspired you to write your first book? And was there anyone who played a major influence in the completion process? So talk to us about your inspiration
Okay.
and getting it done.
Okay, so my very first book was an anthology apart with seven other women talking about we did short stories about basically testimonies, how we were in a situation that did not seem as favorable, but we yet still had to get up, have faith, trust in God for real, and go forth and do what we were supposed to have done. So from that book, I ended up having and launching an absolute prayer journal. Everyone that knows me, they know that I know I look backwards. Everyone that knows me know that I'm just about
Yes.
prayer. And I love prayer because God is such an amazing God for me to me. And so what happened with this prayer journal is, like I said, it stemmed from the book itself. And then God came to me and said, listen, hey, Annette and Nutterville. And so God came to me and said, listen, you realize that there's so much going on in your life. People have prophesied it all in my life. All these great things are going on. And then God started releasing some of it to me. And so one of the major things right now is that I serve women. And so women everywhere, all shapes, fashions, and colors. And the thing is, because we still have with divine joy is such an amazing process. Joy from God, no one else has given it to you,
That's
and no one
good.
can take it away. I don't care what you're going through in your day. Sometimes it just feels like you don't want to roll out of bed. Sometimes it feels like it's too cold or too hot. Sometimes it feels like things aren't working your way. Sometimes your finances don't look as wonderful. Sometimes your relationships don't look as wonderful. Sometimes just even your relationship with your family and children. However, the divine joy
Mm,
that God gives,
yeah.
nobody can take it away. So I always say that there is a silver lining around every cloud. So divine joy started out because of the fact that God told me that I am to commission women to be able to go forth, teach them how to pray, number one. And then once they pray, then they are to journal, and then they'll write. So I promised that I would explain what that meant on this evening. So this is the first prayer journal in a series of journals that are happening. So Divine Joy Prayer Journal, and I'll just go in a little bit. It just basically gives some inspirational quotes. This is my personal one, so you have to excuse. I don't want anything to fall out. And so it gives a inspirational quote, and that one says, "Divine joy, because tomorrow awaits your smile and excitement. Pray and seek God's face for direction. Show up and let them experience your joy." So each and every one of these motivational slogans came from me. They may have been inspired by the Bible, and everything in my life is inspired by God, inspired by God. And then there's pages for you to write along with your date. And so what's so important about journaling that I want to say really quickly is that when you're journaling, the key is writing a date onto your journaling paper, whether you have an official journal like this, and any of my journals you can find at bit.ly/Coach Peaches, all lowercase letters. And so, but even my life has been centered around these types of
Mine too.
tablets that y'all changed the name of
Mine
them.
too.
You new millennial love people that I love, you change it, but we love these things because why? When you write things, it becomes amazing. And then you get to go back and look at it in the same light, but it stays stuck into the memory bank. So when we're writing and we're journaling, a lot of times for me, you pray and then God starts speaking to you. There's different types of prayer, but petitioning is one. And so, but even when you're not even petitioning, even when you're just in intercessory prayer, when you're lifting others before the throne of grace, God will start pouring out to you. So you have to always keep a pen, or and a piece of paper with you so that you can write. And what he's saying, you write it out. And so that's your journaling process, right? And so then you want to write. So let's talk about the difference between journaling and writing, and I'll give it back to you. So journaling is you're talking about what you're feeling after that prayer or during the prayer. Sometimes you could be not feeling as well when you go into prayer. And by the time you come out, you're so excited and shouting and you feel like you can do it all, right? You want to write about all that. You want to write about the things that have been released in your spirit from prayer. You want to write about whatever you're feeling or whatever is going on in your life. And like, Audrea was saying before, sometimes a person has, their prayer time may be later on in the day, but that morning, God just starts releasing to them because sometimes it just happens later. God does it when he does it. For me, I'm riding down the street most of the time. And when I'm driving down the street, he just starts releasing. And so sometimes I have to speak text it, or I just stop and pull over and start writing because it gets real, right? And so that's what ends up happening. And so, but then after you've journaled, because you're your best teacher, you can see when you start going through elevation time frames, you start seeing what's happening. Even let's go a lot deeper. Even when you're dealing with spiritual warfare, some spiritual warfare is timed. And so when you're writing, you can see the seasons that the spiritual warfare comes. You can see every 8 years, or you can see, every time it goes into fall, you can see what happens. And a lot of times we're stuck places in bondage and we don't know how. And this is the answer, because when you start writing, you can go back and look and say, oh my gosh, wait a minute, I'm noticing a pattern. Once you
Right.
start seeing a pattern, it's easier to sometimes go back and
Right.
say, where did this come from? So then you do something so simple as I remember when my oldest daughter was very young and my uncle's father passed away, and he was a elderly man, but he took time to play cards with her. And we called him Junior. She called him Hamanaka, but he took
Uh-huh.
time to play cards with her. And he passed away. And all she heard the adults say was that the last they saw him is that he was in
Oh,
the
wow.
refrigerator, looking in the refrigerator as they were leaving out of the house, that
Uh-huh.
everything was well. And then when they came back home, he was laid in the bed,
Wow.
passed away. So my daughter um, felt like the
Oh,
refrigerator
wow.
killed him. So she didn't know. See, this
Yeah.
goes with the little
Yeah.
kids in their journaling as well. And you don't know what's going on with the children. You're just thinking, why is she pulled back a little bit? But what was happening is she was feeling like that was her in her mind. That was what she heard last. The last thing heard was that he was looking
Wow.
in the refrigerator. So to her, the refrigerator killed him. So she was drawing pictures of people in a bed with refrigerators attached to it. We didn't understand till her teacher wrote me a letter and explained what happened. But then what was also happening is that the seasons changing, you would see him a lot more going
Oh,
into the fall season. So during the fall season, she would be doing excellent in school, but during the fall season, she would just kind of go into this little funk that you don't think little
right.
people
Right.
have, and they do. And so that's why journaling is very important. So schools have them journaling now. I have a 15-year-old that just wrote a journal for teens, and we'll roll
Okay.
that out shortly in another broadcast. But then, and so that's what's behind this. Now, a person that helped in completing this particular journal is Gracie Marie Brown. She really inspired me a lot, and so when she as a coach as well, and so we
Mm-hmm.
all need coaches, but she is a coach as well, and so what she ended up doing is she offered for me to purchase
Mm-hmm.
time to be with her to sit down and complete your book, and she took over my computer and basically just completed the journal. I was so busy working, trying to finish up, and I wasn't getting able to do it. I kept falling asleep in the evening. So that was actually iconic. So that's something that I have rolled out into my plan. So I'm appreciative of her for doing,
Gotcha.
business strategies at an excellent level. So that's what happened with that on top of all of my friends and loved ones. And so do you want me to go into the next one?
Well, I want to kind of transition a little bit. Because you
Okay, go
said
ahead.
that you have, when you talked about your journals, you said that they are two of a series. So talk more about the next book, because you didn't touch on Denim and Pearls much. To talk about that, and then
Correct.
also whatever is to come beyond that, as far as it relates to prayer journals.
Okay. Absolutely. So prayer journal number 2, and we're just talking about this tonight. If you have looked, you've seen that it was going to be coming out, but I had not totally released it to anyone because we were waiting for IBG Publications to be able to share it together. And so this is Denim Diamonds and Pearls, and this is prayer journal number 2. And the reason why prayer journal number 2 came about with Denim Diamonds and Pearls is because as women, we love certain things. And so a diamond's our
Mm-hmm.
girl's best friend. And I love diamonds and pearls. And as I was explaining earlier, and so I ended up seeing some ladies and when I went to Dallas and we did the bling and all. And then I started reading up on another group. Excuse me, and they were doing brunch with their diamonds and pearls on. And there's nothing cutalicious than women, for me, women dressing up a pair of denim jeans, shorts, whatever, however you deal with your denim. And so I have friends like just Nia that would just take it all the way out. Some people are just who they are, just amazing at what they do. But you put your denim with it, and like I said, fresh white, uh, shirt
Mm-hmm.
with a collar on it, and your diamonds and your pearls, and a little bit sprucing on your hair and your face. Throw you on, some heels or some sandals or whatever makes you comfortable, and rock who you are. But anyway, we love diamonds, we love pearls, we love denim, and I love hearts. So that's the reason why they're added, to show the love that I have for the denim, diamonds, and pearls. And so this goes with the birthday theme for me, like I said, because this year that's going to be the theme. Of the conference that will possibly be kicking off for my birthday, but also with the denim, diamond, and pearl, since we are releasing this on today, it also, everyone that purchases a denim, diamond, and pearls prayer journal will receive a free ink pen
Oh, I
with the
like.
diamond.
Put that up
So we have
closer a
four
little bit
different
more.
types.
That
So
is
this one is
nice.
the pink. This is rose gold with white
Wow,
polka
with the
dots on
diamond
it.
on top. I love
Diamond
it.
on top. So then number two, rose gold with
Okay.
no polka dots.
Wow.
Diamond on top. Pen number three, white with pink
Okay.
polka dots and our diamond on top. Because we
Right.
blinging, ladies, we blinging while we were journaling. And so this is the inspiration for your journal. And then this is just a regular gold for those who just gold because they just royalty like that. And it comes with your
Wow.
journal so that it gets you started with your journal pack to inspire you to write. So when we talk about the Denim Diamonds and Pearls journal, it comes in the color version. I'm sorry, this one is the black and white version. And so what it does is, let's get to the page, we just kind of open it up and we give you prompts for praying and just basically trying to get you to understand here's a scripture we need to be in our word every single day. And so a lot of people, I notice a lot of women, but even men as well, but a lot of women are talking about, oh my gosh, I forgot to pray today, or I know I need to get into my word but I haven't gotten to it. So we did the 6x9 versions of these prayer journals, and the reason that we're doing the 6x9 is because they're easy to take with you and throw into some of your
Right.
cute little bucket purses. This is the, that's another, these are what we call the perfect binding, but this is uh, a copy just to look at it. And so we have the
Hmm.
black and white version, and I thought I had a colored one as well, and I guess I didn't. So I have, and then they come in color in the perfect binding, as well as the spiral. And so I may do away with the perfect binding as much because the
Right.
spiral is so convenient to be
Right.
able to turn your pages. And then for me, I get stuck on one page if I didn't get finished journaling
Right.
because we're busy, right? And especially being a mom, you get to write in your page. And then I put mine down and then come back and the page is
Right.
still there saying,
Right.
hey, listen, you wrote this scripture, but you
Right.
ain't went and read it. And your prayer time was 12, it's 12:05, little mama. And so I have to come back. And then I'm asking for, we're remembering, just like in prayer, we're remembering forgiveness. Lord, forgive me. We're talking about, Lord, help me forgive others. We're talking about what you're grateful for in a day. We're talking about people
I
and
gotta pause
situations
you.
to
I'm
pray for.
sorry. Someone's loving
Yeah,
the
that's
pins. They're loving the pins. I love them too.
that's that's my
I
sissy.
love them too.
That's
So as soon as you're
Nuttyville.
done with your description, tell people where to buy it. We jumping, but we on track.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. So then we talk about people and situations that you should be praying for because people always come, right? And you will be in places, and even if you don't feel like you're the holiest or holy in prayer or whatever, but you know that you pray, and people, you end up being in situations and people like, oh, baby, pray for me. You know, you got your friends, and she'd be like, girl, pray for me because I'm going through, you know, your prayer keep her out of jail so she ain't flattening no tires. You know, we all got them friends still, and you just
Right.
have to pray for them and love on them, and even right where you are. So we talk about the prayer requests. You can't see that really well, but we basically go over prayer requests and then the decreeing and declaring because you get to be able to do that. And then the rejoice of your prayers that were answered. I love that. And then reflections and notes. And then you have your journaling pages. And so it kind of goes through basically for in that purpose on that one. And so it's so important to be able to write and place your thoughts down because through this whole life of yours, can you imagine if if you had a journal from
Hmm.
100 years ago of your great
Wow.
great grandmother, right? And you could just read it. I was thinking the other day, I lived with my grandmother majority of my life. I spent most of my life trying to figure out a way to get to her. And and I thought, you know, just that was yesterday in the shower, I'm thinking, I don't even have anything with her handwriting on it. Now, my daughter who's on there, I know they do. She said they're perfect for your war room.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Olivia.
Okay.
That's my oldest baby girl right there. And so something like this, can you imagine just looking and your
Yeah.
grandmother has written something from a
Yeah.
hundred years ago, right? And then you find out because
Right.
nothing is new under the sun. All of the chaos and the nonsense that's going on in this world, if you go back and pull that Bible out,
Right.
especially in the Old Testament, you'll see it's been happening since the beginning of time. As Paula White used to say, the cray cray been going on since the beginning. And so it has been going
Right.
on since the beginning. Leaders who have been doing just what they want to do in the name of God, the ones who have tried to kill all the real prophets and switch it over. I mean, they have tried to do a number of things in the world, and it has not changed. But I firmly believe that right now God is saying to women, no more will your
Mm.
words be silenced. No more. So I put on the back of Divine Joy my favorite scripture, which is Psalms 91. And I only put verse 1 through 3 because they're very, very, very important to me. Everything I've gone through when it felt like I was in the valley of the shadow of death, and when I did not know what was next, if I was going to live or die, when I used to have migraines, Psalms 91 says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to get on that. I'm sorry, y'all, but that is my scripture. And so that's a scripture that I give to people who are warring, because it will get you through and remind you that 1,000 can fall on your left
Yes.
side and 10,000 upon your right, but none can come nigh
Yeah.
your dwelling. And
Yeah.
so that's some good stuff. But just imagine, so when you write in your journal 100 years from now, your great great granddaughter is going to want to know what you had to say as well. She's going to be sitting there 13 years old. You remember
Right.
when we were 13 and no one understands me, and they're just so old they have no clue, when you don't even realize that the cycle is just a
Right.
circle. You're wearing the same clothes she
Right.
wore when she was that age. You're doing the same things that she did. She
Right.
see the same struggles, and yet it's hard to listen to her because she's right there. You can grasp her. Sometimes you hear people say you never miss the
Right.
water till the well runs dry. But when you have her writing 100 years from now, telling you, I was going through this with my husband, and I had to pray over him, and I was making anointed oil then, and I was greasing his shoes. I was dropping oil in his shoes, and I was oiling his head when he was asleep, having nightmares. And when he was over there acting crazy, I was over there in my war room praying because I knew God had it, and I was calling angels down back then. Then your granddaughter goes, oh my gosh, but let me tell you what the best part of that is, the wisdom of the hindsight. Because for you, you only have a journal like me up until the day today. What's the last thing I wrote today? However, you have to go back to the fact of, had I wrote all of my journals out and you had all of them in a stack right now, you
Right.
get to keep reading. You go by this journal, you're thinking journal number 2. Oh my gosh, I'm reading all these, and oh my gosh, my grandma's going through this. Great grandma went through the same thing that I went through, and she was a bad mama jam at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? They telling me, because you got the hindsight story, you know what she became in the end, and then you can go through those stories, and then she comes back and give the wisdom,
Right.
and she's writing again to say, listen, I went through that one time, and he tried to treat me like and put me in bondage in that household. So guess what? He woke up and I got up out of there because he was not about, because
Right.
I thought he was gonna hit me next,
Right.
and whatever your experience is, or for the man, because men are going through so much as well. Or she thought she was gonna keep treating me in the kind of way, thinking I was gonna just keep dealing with it, and this is what I did. And then your guys won't be able to
Yes.
be in jail so much because they'll have a journal. They can be all cool when nobody ain't looking in the bathroom. You have this bathroom reading from 100
Right.
years ago, your grandfather, who done sat there and walked with
Right.
MLK or
Right.
something, and sitting there saying, man, I remember when this happened, and we fought, and then you come out the bathroom feeling like king, like
Right.
the strength you needed. So when you waiting on everybody else to give you strength, the person that done passed on has blessed the
Wow.
lineage
Wow.
with these. This is what the majorness of this is. And so this is what I want to leave a part of my legacy, which is I want to see a million
Wow.
women begin to write, begin to journal, and then write their experiences, journaling personally what they have that only their family will see, but be able to write what they decide to share with the public. And so 1,000 women, I'm looking
No, no, no. You
to
said
be able
one
to
million.
help them do it. I mean, 1 million. I'm sorry. That's right. See, that's a real friend. 1 million women to be able to start journaling. And so there's a journaling membership that will
Awesome.
be coming up starting
Awesome.
on next month. Yes, so that we'll get together
Where can
and
they
we'll talk
find
about the
the
journaling that
journaling
we've done.
membership? Where will it be available at?
So everything you will be able to find with me is available with at bit.ly/coach peaches, CoachPeaches. And so the reason being is because everything is in one place so that you can go. Thank you, Brenda. She said she's all in. So you can go and get into here. Everything that I have, the memberships, the books, everything is right there in one spot so that you'll be able to get it and not the confusion of,
Okay.
everywhere that it's located. But this is very excellent in that. And I'm looking for, 1,000 women to also
Yeah,
take on that same
that's
challenge
good.
to get 1 million
That's
women.
good.
That's where, and so 1,000 additional women to get started on this same journey to be able to go forth so that we can establish the shoulders so that the next women can build on it. Because in our generation, in our lineage, in our culture, we don't
Right.
tend to have that as much because we're usually trying to
Right. Right.
survive and get through it. And we don't think about journaling, which I'm trying to live through it. And my biggest phrase, I'm
Right.
trying to
Right.
breathe through a straw. I'm trying to keep breathing and make it through this thing. And so, but what I didn't realize is how
Yes.
therapeutic journaling is, because by the time I started writing it down, I've
Right.
released the tension, I've released the frustration, I've released the stresses, I've released the
Right.
people that did things to me that I absolutely was so angry with, that I thought that I just thought about different ways to hurt them,
Mhm.
and back in those days when you have those moments. Thank God I never did for anyone, but people just push you to a limit. But this is the thing that keeps you from going to
Mhm.
get in trouble, because you write about it, and write a letter to the person and say what you got to say, and they don't
Yeah.
ever have to read it, but you got it
Yeah.
out, the real deal of what you were feeling, and it's not
Right.
entrapped inside of you, because emotions trapped create
Yes.
what? Illness. And people
Yes.
don't get
Yes.
that. And we'll be teaching on that later on as well. Thank you, Brenda.
Mhm.
That's my sis. I love her. That's my childhood friend, and we have been good like that. She's got a
You got
dynamic
another
story as well.
classmate
But
on
thank
here,
you so much.
David Emmanuel. So that's my classmate.
Yes, David. That is. Hey, David, the
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
guy.
David,
What does he talk about the
talk
colon?
about what?
He was talking about the colon or the liver or the spleen or
Pineal
something. I
gland.
forgot. He's
Pineal gland.
hilarious.
Yes.
Pineal gland. That's
He
what it
called
is.
himself Reverend
Yes.
Pineal.
Yes. But he was
Yeah.
dropping knowledge in comedy. The brother was dropping the knowledge. These dudes was not ready. Hey, Patricia, these dudes were not ready for
Yeah.
what he is sharing. I
Yeah.
love him. Anybody that
Yes.
has something
That
good. So
was
yes,
at the beginning of the show when I talked about the Unity Over Beliefs clothing line. That belongs to David.
correct,
That's his clothing line. So let's
correct,
transition a little bit. You talked a lot about what you want the book to do for others. Talk specifically, because
correct.
we know that anytime we produce a book, good evening, my cousin, thank you. Anytime you produce a book, it's a
Mhm.
process, it's a journey, so how has you doing your book, how did it impact you? You talk about your desire for other people, but what did it do for you? How did it press you? How did it shape you? How did it push you? Because people don't understand, writing a book is a process, and so the book has to speak to you
Correct,
first. No matter what the content is, it's going
correct.
to speak to you first. So, how has writing the book impacted your life specifically before you wanted anybody else to pick it up?
Okay, so the way that these books have helped me strategically is, number one, like to be able to start journaling a whole lot more, but because God had me
Mm,
pregnant with
yes.
businesses, and there is so many books on the inside. I have 46 books with working titles
Wow.
and outline and structures. But what
I'm
happened?
sorry.
Right.
46.
But see, that's because before you
Wow.
understand how important this is, I kept saying to myself, when everybody's asking me, when's the book coming? And people are saying, hey, I want to read the book. And I'm talking to people and they're saying, are you putting that in a book? And I'm thinking, yeah, it was sounding real cute. But I wasn't going home doing nothing, people. Yeah, that alert right there. I was doing nothing,
Okay.
that part. And I was saying, but you know what I said to myself when no one else was around? Nobody needs to hear my story.
What?
Everybody's writing a book, right? So I love to share the story about when my coach said, one of my coaches, when I was sitting there thinking the same thing, and she said, listen, I'm going to tell you what she said, listen, fool. So she said, if there's a fight and you and I get into a fight and you
Uh-huh.
beat my tail, but I take time to go write about it, 100 years from now, who won that fight? You and I are the only ones that know you dusted me up and everybody that was around. But if she the only one wrote about the fact that and then she lied and said she dusted me up, 100 years from
Right.
now, I lost that fight. Like I was the
Right.
loser in spite of me being the winner. And so that's what's so important. You being able to
Right.
share your story
Right.
in your own words, you being able to give it, because we all know that you've had teachers that you were just looking at cross-eyed like, oh my gosh, I feel like paint's drying on the wall. You're thinking about everything else, like it's not working. And most people usually experience that in math. But then you get this one math teacher that shows up and everybody else is looking confused, but you're like, ooh, I got it. And
Right.
then because of, and it's not that they're teaching you anything different from the last person, but just because of the way
Right.
that they
Right.
said it, you got it. And a lot of times because of the connection that you have, you receive it a whole lot more. So that is the importance of why you need to be able to speak it, because the world will not be what it needs to be unless you exemplify who you are and share
Yes.
what God has given you. Because the same way that Audrey and I are both authors, people don't understand this,
Right.
but our
Right.
experiences are different. We have so much of the same knowledge. Our posture is even different when we
Right.
write or when we
Right.
are approaching things. We both are dynamic women of God. We are both dynamic. God has given us a lot of good stuff to be able to share with the people and also to take care of our families, because the Bible says the
Yes.
workman is worthy of his hire, right? And so the same way when we go to jobs and we're expecting them to pay us for being there, then these same things happen. But in the midst of all of this, my experience is absolutely wonderful,
Right.
and I'm going to write the books. And they're going to
Okay.
get out of me because they say that the
Yes.
graveyard is full, and I will not
Yes.
take anything to the graveyard with me. When I get to the graveyard, it's going to be empty. When you come by my casket, you're going to hear echoes. You're not hitting all that. So, and they're going to
Right.
be released.
I
And
love
in the
that.
same token, release yours, because yours may need to
Right.
sit next to mine to be able to be the left and the right hand to make a whole two hands that can pick one thing up
Yes.
and make it
Yes.
lift.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes two things to lift a hard.
Yes.
Look at think of Holy Spirit. Sometimes it takes two things to
Yes.
lift a heavy object. And so I may be the
Right.
right hand and you may be the left, and we might have to
Right.
lift it together, but with only
Right.
one, we can't get it done. And so we still need you
Yes.
and your words
Yes.
and your writings and your things that you've learned and the way that you've received it and the way that you exemplify it and how you bring it forth. We need that just as
Right.
well as we need mine. God
Right.
is no respecter of persons. I'm nothing so much more other than the fact that while you were probably dancing and listening to music on your ride back and forth to work, I was listening to
Yes.
coaches in my ear speaking. I was listening to mentors talking to me. I was listening to webinars. I was listening to other strategists, and I'm thinking, my gosh, I think the same way she does. I'm listening to other people that are doing the same exact thing, and I'm
Right.
investing
Right.
in me
Right.
tons of cash flow into myself so that I can be the better person, just for myself and my own lineage, but then not so only that, but for you, because that's what God has made us to do. We were born as babies
Right.
for a reason. And then we go through a process of development into being able to continue to get older and adolescence and then going into teenagehood, which I call sick time, and then going into young adulthood and being an adult and then being an elderly adult. And so if you think about what you do in that process when you're a baby, you're
Right.
receiving, receiving, receiving. But when you become a toddler, you're
Right.
still receiving, receiving. But if there's a smaller baby around you, you will watch a toddler tend to turn to that
Right.
baby and try to even
Right.
teach them slightly, right? And then as you continue to go on into adolescence, you're still learning, receiving more. But guess what? If there's a younger child around, you're turning, teaching them, you're reading to them, you're showing them these are good things that we should do. And then you go into puberty. Now you're receiving, receiving. Now
Right.
you're teaching your friends, which is really scary, but
Right.
it happens, right? That's why it's so good to inform. And then you're teaching the younger kids. And then as a young adult, you're receiving even the more. And oh my gosh, I got something to say. And then you're teaching more people and more young adults. And so you're still receiving, but now you're giving
Right.
back a little bit more. When you become an established adult, Now you're still
Right.
receiving from elders
Right.
because you're not too good to receive, but now you're pushing
Right.
out a whole lot more. And then when you become elderly right before you pass away, if you've done this thing the right way, you're pushing out and just pushing out because God has blessed you and given into
Right.
you, and now you're pushing out. And then you push out of this cycle of life. And so this is what we're
Right.
supposed to do. We're supposed to teach. People think, oh, that's not my job. I'm not a teacher.
Right.
Kick
Right.
rocks. That's not true.
Exactly.
I'm here to tell you, your job is to teach. Even if you don't have children yet, even if you decide not to have children, you're even teaching them as you continue to go forth.
Right.
Exactly, Brenda. You're teaching them as you're going forth every single day. When you walk around, let me tell you something. When I was a little girl, I used to sit in the back where my
Mm-hmm.
mom would go places, like in the
Uh-huh.
store, the grocery store, and I watched all the women and every last one of them. And I watched their behaviors. I watched their daintiness or the lack of. I watched the way they carried themselves. And I waited to see if anybody saw me. Hey, Jen. And I waited to see if anyone saw me. And you find every so often one woman that was always so beautiful to me, because to me they were just beautiful. Why? Because they turn around and do this. Hey, and they speak to me. Oh my gosh, you can see me? Because like the adults were doing everything else, they couldn't see me. And so I love that. And so you'll find me in a heartbeat. I'm speaking to little people in corners everywhere, in the car waving. Their parents are not seeing. I'm speaking because I know I love that as a little girl. Those little things is what got me. And every woman that turned to speak to me implemented something in the
Right.
inside of me.
Right.
This smile came from every woman that I've ever seen or laid my eyes on that
Mm.
spoke and smiled at
You
me.
what you're saying, there
So
is two scriptures, and the first scripture is when thou art converted, strengthen your brother. That is
that's
denoting
correct.
responsibility. So you can't get all this
Correct.
knowledge and wisdom, and then you say you live by the word, but you haven't converted or strengthened anyone else. You've been converted. You're supposed to go. It's a command to
Correct.
go and strengthen someone else. You
Correct.
know, and then the Bible also says that too much is given, much is required. So you can't go
Yes.
and gain all this knowledge and then you just sit up and hoard it to yourself. You are responsible for
Correct.
now teaching and giving it back to someone else so that their life can get the same
Correct.
change, the same, blessing, the same, everything you experience. You should desire to want to see someone else be blessed. That's not your desire. You
Correct.
may be
Exactly.
selfish, so we should want to
Correct.
see other people be blessed and, get the same knowledge and the same. And even if I can't give you everything I know, I can point you in the right direction. I can send you where you can get what I
Correct.
got. So those are what you're saying with the
Right.
cycle of life that you're talking about. When you die, you should die empty. You should die not holding or
Correct.
keeping anything in. When you said you have 46 books, I was like, Jesus, I don't got that many. I thought I was the book queen, But it goes
Woo.
to show you that when people's potential is not tapped into or developed, how there are webs of information inside of people and they're not being
Correct.
challenged or pushed to push those things out so that
Hmm.
somebody else can be encouraged and know that they can do it too. I'm quick.
But you know
Why is
why?
that?
Because so many times we think that the knowledge that we know, we think
Mm-hmm.
everyone
Wow.
knows what we already know. And so we tend to not think that it's valuable because
Right. Right.
everybody knows it and everyone was not paying attention
Right.
when you were paying attention. And so even something so simple as giving direct, you and I could be standing side by side, someone can give you directions to where you're going. I won't remember any of the streets. I probably was looking at your posture as a massage therapist, thinking, oh my gosh, I can see the pain that they're in. Their left shoulder is slightly higher, the other one is lower. You'll hear the instructions that you think that everyone heard. I didn't hear any of the instructions. I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're in pain. And I've gone into prayer. You still see me smiling, you still see me nodding,
Right.
but I'm in prayer. And so then I got to turn to my friend and say,
Right.
where are we going? Because I don't know. And that's so important. So when you know something,
Right.
share what you know, and then the rest, go ahead, but don't fake it, but share it. And the second thing is because people tend to make you feel like, oh, who you think you are trying to do it. Well, think that you are who you are
Right.
and who God made you,
Right.
which is a
Right.
woman that is excellent in His eyes.
Yeah.
And so share it. because some
Yes,
people are interested
yes,
in what you have to say,
yes,
and it makes their
yes.
day, you
I'll
know?
use the example of what you're saying. One of my Facebook friends, he's one of the most recent authors who's come into the group. And but I've been watching him for like a year. I've known him pretty much all my life, but I've been watching his posts for the last year. And I've been watching the response to his posts. And I just said one day, you
Correct.
need to write a book. And it was like, it resonated for him. You know what? You're right. I should write a book.
Correct.
So what you're saying is so true that we know we get caught up into thinking that nobody wants to hear what we have to say, but somebody is standing around
Correct.
waiting on you. And we talked about this last week, that what you have can be holding up someone else's life. And so when I
Woo!
invited him into the group, and another mutual friend was like, I can't wait to read his book, because people are standing around waiting to hear how you made it through, how
Right.
you push. And then guess what?
Correct.
Once you write about your own personal story, then it's like the creativity that opens up for you is absolutely amazing, because you will be thinking, I didn't
Right.
even know I had the ability to do this. Go figure.
Right.
So that's a blessing. What words of encouragement would you give viewers who may desire to write a book? What encouragement would you give them?
I would give viewers the encouragement of to press through it. No one can tell
Mm,
your story the
that's
way
good.
you tell your story. And if you want to be remembered for who you really were, one of the things that frustrates me the most when I'm talking to people, I had to deal with that with my friend earlier today, is I don't like when I'm saying something and someone misunderstood what I said, or that I never said it and you
Mm-hmm.
misunderstood me because you're trying to translate
Right.
something through a text that's not
Mm-hmm.
working well, right? But if I want you to know what I mean, then I've got to
Right.
engage in
Right.
a conversation with you. So if you're, so what I'm saying to you is you've
Mm-hmm.
got to write what you're thinking. And that's not just for you, but for
Yes.
me as well. Write what you're experiencing, journal it, get it journaled out, and then you can go from there. Then your journaling will inspire
Right.
you to write what you need to
Right.
write to share with the people. But sometimes, have you ever seen a person that you come in contact with, and they may this, let's just say a previous relationship or something, or with a parent or a sibling, or even in a loving relationship, and the person that you were in the relationship with, siblings do it a lot. One person can say, I remember that time when you hurt me and you did such and such. People always remember what
Right.
you did to
Right.
harm them, right? But they
Right.
never remember what they did to
Right.
create the cause
Right.
to make the effect. And so if you're like me and you have a forgiving heart, a lot of times it's not on your
Mm-hmm.
mind immediately. And so if you've journaled about it, when you get ready to write that story, you get ready to tell the truth, because you can say what, see, a person lies about the same thing over and over again, and then they start believing the lie, and then history in their mind becomes that lie. And I know
Mm-hmm.
history has had that happen over and over again. So
Right.
that's called his story. But her story,
Right.
we got to get this in order. And so when you wrote it in that book, and you can flip it back, and you can say January the 10th, I wrote, today, and here we go, and I wrote it in. Boom, I know what happened for real,
Mm-hmm.
because it was right here. Now, if you looking at it and you see, oh, wait a minute, I didn't say anything about what I did. Oh, I did do such and such first,
Right.
because it'll correct you
Right.
as well, because you're going, I wrote that I was feeling and they hurt me, and that's all I remember for the last 10 years is that you hurt me. That's why I ain't really wanted to deal with you. But you remembering when I hurt you too, and you
Right.
don't want to really deal with me. Big misunderstanding. You didn't hurt me, I didn't hurt you. Can we get over
Yeah.
this and love each other for real, for real? Like, that's what I had to say to somebody today. Like, can we get over this?
Right.
Tell me what you need me to do
Right.
so that we can get past this, because apparently I did something wrong and you did something wrong, but I love you and you ain't gonna change it. Let's make this right.
Right.
What do I need to do to make it right? And I was appreciative that my friend felt the same exact way. And so but we have a lot of issues with abandonment because people don't understand that. And so the easiest way people try to tell you is, oh, leave. Just go ahead and leave. Oh, she made you mad that one time. You forgot that she done helped you out, supported you. I've seen this with my friends over and over again. They help other people out. They support you. They're there for you over and over again. And then the one moment that you ain't feel good and you made a mistake, or you might have said something you didn't even understand what was wrong. Now you so angry you don't want to talk to me no more. But we done been
Right.
rocking for 30 years. Now you're so mad that you can't talk to me
Right.
no more. Like, what did I do? Did I stab you in your jugular vein and you about to die?
Right.
Because I don't understand. So let me apologize. Tell me so that I can come and apologize to you. And then when you find out, oh, you had a misunderstanding anyway. You heard somebody say that they said it, but this is really what I said. Now, if you consider me,
Right.
you know what
Right.
sounds like me. Boom, we don't
Yeah.
waste 30 years.
Yeah.
We don't waste all this
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
This is important. Write the story
Yeah.
about yourself so that your grandchildren know the truth. We have story over and over again, stuff like Abe Lincoln and the kids that he made, and these people are running around and they know that they're the descendants of him. His other family wanting to fight, they're not. They're not. He wasn't with a black woman. Like, yeah, he was, and there's journaling. And so you go and look at the journaling, and then you came from the horse's mouth. Yeah, this is what he promised her. He promised her this, and that. This is why this, and that. Oh man, they was really in love, but because of the way politics was set up was because of this. And so
Right.
you don't know the real stories until you
Right.
get those journals. And we need to start leaving legacies for our children in writing. Give them the option. If they choose to go through their life and never read it, boom, their choice. If they have a child might pick it up. But someone's going to need this and they're going to read it and it's going to help them tremendously. Think about the fact that if you know what you knew now, like I'm 46, if I knew now at the age of 19 what I know now at 46, like if somebody had wrote all this stuff out already, I would be a
Wow.
bad girl. And God has done some wonderful things for me. But when I tell you, I probably would have already helped some churches be established and some more things had I already known. But there was a process that I
Right.
needed to go through as well. So that's my most important thing. Write, write, and write. Wake up early in the morning, get a good habit of writing. And that's something that I've been working on as well for these novels, because what I had to realize that a lot of people don't realize is that we deal with attention deficit. Been around forever. we
Right.
didn't we didn't call it that. We call it focus.
Lack of
uh
focus.
Go
Hmm.
ahead and do your journal. Yeah. And so get it together. And so what happened is me shifting in my life. Now I have to sit still and it's time to write and it's time to birth all this stuff that God is having me go in labor with. It's so funny that he had the right people set up around me to be able to help me in birthing things. You, Audra, being
Hmm.
included, and a number of other of my sisters that are just so close to me that are helping me
Yeah.
birth this stuff out of me and get it out so that it can be helped. You've got to get this stuff out of you so that you can help others who absolutely need
Yes.
the help
Yes.
from it.
I want to give a shout out to some people that have joined on with us, whether they hopped on or off. My nephew Alan jumped on,
Hey,
and
Alan.
Lakita jumped on. She's one of our authors in
Hi,
the
Lakita.
IBG group. My cousin
Mm-hmm.
Terrell. Good evening. God bless you. My
Hey,
good friend
Terrell.
Fenton Ramsey. Good evening. Thanks for joining.
Hey,
David
Fenton.
Emmanuel, Miss Ophelia Rogers,
Hey,
Tiara
David.
Petway, Jen Lowe,
Hey,
Lakai
Tiara.
McKenzie. We just had
Hey.
quite a few people joining us tonight. So thank you to everyone who's joining us. We're wrapping up on an hour. We like to be right at an hour. But before we go,
Amen.
I want you to tell the viewers everything you got coming down the pipeline, product wise, where they can find you, where they can purchase, how they can join your groups. And then once you give us that, go ahead and give some final words of encouragement for our viewers.
Okay, so a couple of things that we have coming out. So the journaling group is called the
Mm,
Praying Pen.
okay.
And so the praying pen will be, yes, so the praying pen will be kicking off as well. I think it's the 3rd of May, but I'll give you the exact dates. We'll come back on and I'll put it on. Everything dealing with me right now, everything will start being uploaded into bit.ly/Coach Peaches. And so the next prayer journal that is coming out, preferably by the end of this week or next week, will be the praying pen
Okay.
prayer journal. And so that's going to kick off, and that prayer journal is going to go with everyone that joins the group when they get started, to start off as their first prayer journal to get started, to be able to do that. And so the prayer journals will continue to go. I have 14 months worth of
Wow.
journals already set up. So the journals will probably be coming out. I want to do them once a month, but being able to upload them on KDP the way that I've wanted to, we will see. But there will be one at least other month that we'll have a new journal in the series that will be coming out. And so we also have a couple of other journals from a couple of other
Okay.
authors as well that will be starting. So Imani David has one that she has submitted, and so I also help and God imposed on me today, and I don't have the dates down pat yet to be able to offer a prayer journal
Okay.
masterclass where I'm going to teach you how to go forth, get your
Mm-hmm.
own prayer journal out, and then be able to upload it and publish it and have it to where, and then the ones who have businesses, you'll be able to brand it as well to be able to get your branded prayer journal. So Imani David is the one who submitted all of her information to me on yesterday. So we'll be working on her cover and getting her journal uploaded as well for her
Okay.
prompts to be able to do it, along with Lamaya Sweetbear, which is my 15-year-old. She has her prayer journal that's coming out, and I'm gonna keep the title of her prayer journal under wraps because it has not happened before yet. And so when it comes out, I want it to be fresh and innovative, and we will come back on and talk about it then. So we have the Single Mom Survival Club. The enrollment will be
Okay.
opening in the month of May, and so the dates will have to come back because we have a couple of things that I'm needing to be sent back to me first. But so that will be coming out in the month of May. At the beginning of the month, we will be doing the Prayer Journal membership for the people that want to get in together. We'll meet up once a month. We'll talk about different ways of prayer. The different types of prayer. We'll talk about the different journaling experiences, the different ways that you would journal, how people are feeling about the journaling process. Are you being able to get into it or not? But most importantly, being able to establish, yes, thanks, to be able to establish um, good habits. Because what people don't understand a lot of time is we deal with bad habits. Oh, I need to get out of this bad habit. I need to get out of this bad habit. But we can intentionally create good habits. And so intentionally creating a life of prayer and journaling will make all the difference in your life. And so that's part of what that
Okay.
membership club is going to do. We're going to help you be able to establish good habits of being able to get times, for prayer and then journaling. And then the next step is writing. And so I'm going to push and expect those who are ready to, I'm going to have a class as well that'll be coming up as well to be able to help you go from the manuscript of that book to the hard copy of the first draft of it when that class is finished. And then we'll be able to help you with a number of things like marketing and strategy of the book signings, editing the book, publishing the book, and that kind of thing, and what you should be doing in the process of it. So we'll talk about a number of things that are coming up. But just stay close to PVG, IBP Publications. Wonder what just went on. IBP Publications, and things will be right up in there, and you will see what is going on as this unfolds. And I pray that many of you will also be released. So my encouraging word is I am a woman of prayer, and I pray that God will release unto you what it is that you need to be able to go forth and bring upon from the earth what he has placed inside of you
Yes.
in order to be able to do, that it will manifest
Yes.
from every experience that you thought was dark and frustrating, everything that seemed like it was the hardest thing that you could do, everything that you could not understand why you had to experience it, for every moment that the
Mm-hmm.
lights were off and you could not figure out how it was going to get cut on, every moment that you did not understand how you were going to pay your car note or the car insurance, every moment that you had to pay children's daycare and the person that was trying to help you was not coming through, for every single process that you've gone through and you can't understand why you go through it. I pray that God will give you the divine wisdom to be able to understand why you went through it and to be able to help you go forth and to be and sharing what it is that you have as well. If you have any questions and you need help, connect with one of us, connect with Audra Hurd or connect with me, L Peaches Coach. um, go through the bit.ly/Coach Peaches. Will also have my calendar up shortly to be able to give you an option to be able to come in with a small 15-minute segment to be able to talk about some things, or to be able to purchase for $197 to be able to set an hour with me so that you can be able to strategize, get some fresh strategies from heaven to be able to get some prophetic ministerial processes on what you have going on in your business, to be able to get some accountability stuff in order, and to get some, some structure going so that you'll know where you're going at. And then once you get with the person and you have had the accountability, it's a little bit different with me after you have gone with me and had a talk with me for that hour and go away. For the next 30 days, you are on my
Yes.
radar in prayer. You are on my radar in I'm expecting to see something happening just between you
Right.
and I, not a call
Right.
out in the rest of the world, but just being able to see what I can do to help you get through what it is that you're going through, because we all need help. I have needed help so many moments. Audra, how many moments have you had to step in and be able to help me
Yes.
when I could not breathe?
Right.
And we've all gone through it. Don't look at me and think
Right.
this was an easy process. These books that I wrote, I riding down the street, transporting people.
Right.
This, I was doing it. Yes,
Right.
multitasking. The people that rode with me can tell you I got it together. I was
Mhm.
on prayer lines, right driving down the street. So when people say that it cannot happen, I won't say that you can't say it cannot happen, but I'm here to say, and this is another way to look at this.
Yeah.
This is another posture. This is a way that you can look at it, because sometimes, even tonight, speaking with you, Audra, and you came to break bread in our training class, some of the things that you brought forth, I was like, oh my word, I needed that. And so
Right.
we all need coaches. Invest in yourself. We all need strategy. And most people say, well, why isn't it free? I used to think the same thing. Why isn't it free? And then people start helping you for free. And then you start
Right.
not moving as
Oh
fast. Is
yeah.
that right, Apostle
Oh
Audra?
yeah.
Okay. And so we start and we start not
Right.
moving as much as we should, because we need to be able to move. And so when you got skin in the game, as my other coach likes to say, when you got money on the table, because the closest thing to most people is money. But the Bible tells you, God says, I'll
Yes, he
bless a
will.
sacrifice. But he told you that the obedience is
Right.
better than the sacrifice. And Leviticus 26 verses 1 through 13 talks about it, if you just really want to know what the sacrifice is. So people always are thinking, when I give you this money, what you going to do with the money? Hey, what you need to not worry about is that, because what you need to worry about is your giving is what's blessing you. The person that you just gave that money to, they got to deal with whatever they ain't doing right on their money. And
Right.
trust me, God will deal with them if they ain't doing it right. And if they're doing it right, he's going to bless them too. But you
Right.
got to do your part by being able
Right.
to sow the seed. I've never seen a person get an apple
Right.
tree without placing a
Right.
seed in the ground. And then I've never seen most people be able to go find a free seed unless you've already purchased the apple, which means you sowed
Right.
into your own life in order for you to get the nutrition in your body and to take the seed and drop it into a ground. You've got to be able to invest into yourself for real, in order for there to be an outcome, because there is an anointing that comes with your
Yes.
investment.
Yes.
Once you invest into something, and I don't care if someone tells you I'm going to do it for free, and that's happened,
Right.
sow a seed into them anyway. I don't care if you don't have but
Right.
$3. And I've had people do it. They will get online on Cash App, and they will sow. They don't mind being able to put that dollar sign anointed to slay in, and they will
Mhm.
send $3. And I'm still praying that God will absolutely bless them. And guess what? He will,
Right.
because the seed
Right.
that they sow
Right.
creates a harvest. But if you're holding on
Right.
to your seed, I've never seen seed grow in the palm of
Right.
anybody's hand. I've never seen seed
Right.
grow into your pockets or into your cute little cedar
Uh-huh.
chest on your dresser to be able to say, I have the seed. But the seed has to be sown in order to be able to get a harvest. You're looking for a harvest. You're looking for God to do something in your life. And I'm sorry that I went into this area, because a lot of people don't like money. And I don't have a situation where people have to give me money. And so I don't, go into a pastoring of a church where people need to be sowing seed. But I need you to understand the
Right.
importance of you sowing seed. You need to understand why you're going to be paying your tithe and offering, why you're sowing your seed, and where God is telling you to send it at. You need to understand what figure that he gives you in your head to be able to sow a seed into something, and you need to be able to do it, because that
Right.
becomes the obedience. And that's between you and them, because you don't ever have to give me a dime. I'm good
Right.
ground by itself. Why? Because
Right.
I work hard to
Right.
be good ground. And so if you don't plant a seed in me, I'm planting a seed into myself. But people that are planting seed into me, the seed continues to grow. And I ain't the only good ground. You got Apostle Audra that's dealing with good ground. You've got a lot of people that are good ground. And when you start connecting with people and God starts showing them to you again, boom, sow a seed. I'm telling you something that you can't understand how big this is
Right.
until you understand the seed sowing season. And so sow a seed into people, and you will be able to get a harvest. You cannot. And then the last thing, real quick, is to always remember you can sow a seed here when the seed sowing season. But guess what? In the United States, when it's summer, in Australia, it's winter. So in other words, when it's harvest season in the U.S., when
Right.
you're getting the harvest, Australia is in seed sowing season. You need to be sowing some
Wow.
seed over there in another ground so that you can be getting the harvest. And that's what God means when he said, I would like for you to go from faith to faith and glory to glory. You're going from glory to glory, from vineyard to vineyard. So that's what I want to leave with you. Sow the seed with these pens, cute pen. Sow a seed by journaling and writing into your lineage with your journaling, and into the rest of the world with your writing. Sow a seed with your finances if that's something that you're needing, finances. If you need love, give love. That's the seed of love. You will receive it back. If you are looking for a customer,
That's
you've got
right.
to be a good customer. Sow a seed. If you want to be a coach, you've got to be coached. Sow a seed. You've got to be able to sow a seed in order to be able to get a
Amen.
harvest. Amen.
Now,
And so
one
I
more
thank you
thing.
guys
Did
for.
you say where? Because I know you said that the Denim and Pearls journal is now available, right?
Correct. There it's on coachpeaches.com, and for every purchase of Denim Diamond and
Okay.
Pearls, you will be
But they
getting
have to
a
purchase that on
pin.
your
And
website,
even
right?
no, even if you inbox me, I do have some that's on right now. Purchase them on the website is easier because I have a book signing and things that will be coming up as well. And I'll be speaking on May 4th in Jacksonville, Florida. So I'll be in the city, back in Jacksonville on May 4th for the 7 Up Revival, where I'll be one of the 7 women that'll be speaking on the up topic, and we'll be talking about
Yes.
leveling up
Yes.
in this season. And so, but just so when you sow a seed into being able to get the journal, you would also be able to receive your blinged out pin
Hmm.
to go with it.
Amen.
Amen.
So that is, did you say coachpeaches.com? Is that what you said?
It no
Coach
bit.ly forward
Peaches.
slash
Gotcha. Okay.
Coach Peaches.
So, all right,
Hmm.
everybody. Well, you have heard the awesome, awesome testimony, story, business strategist, Coach Peaches. She even was throwing some nuggets of strategy out there for those who don't know which direction to go. Thanks for posting that, Brenda. Thank you for
Right.
that. But she even put some strategy out there for some people who you may not have known what direction to go. So this has been a phenomenal interview. Thank you so much for coming on to the broadcast this evening. I appreciate your presence and the anointing that you brought to the broadcast to bring a lot of wisdom. It was a lot of wisdom
Thank
imparted
you.
today about the journal, the journey, and getting it on to completion. Because she and I do go back a couple years where I was just like, come on, let's get it done. Let's get it done. So I was that midwife some years ago. So it blesses me to
Whew.
see where you are right now and how you were at one time afraid to take the jump.
Right.
But now
Oh yeah.
you jumped, girl, you jumped.
Girl, listen, y'all. If I can do it,
Yes,
you
you
can do
can.
it.
Yes, even the prophetic
Oh.
words that I recall giving you about how much you had took in and how now you're giving out
Right.
everything you took
Correct.
in. I recall those prophetic words
Yes.
and how, even your mindset has changed about making sure you get these things pushed out because you do want to die empty. I tell
Correct.
people all the time, I don't fear dying. I fear not completing what God has given me
Correct.
before I die. So I'm not afraid to die. I'm
Correct.
afraid I may not get it all done. So I wake up daily looking for the way to get and execute everything that God has put in me. Because I don't want no, can't nobody steal nothing off my
Absolutely.
grave. it's gonna all it's gonna
Who say
already
that,
be
Lord?
out there. Because some people, and I don't want to transition to this, but some people believe in going to the graveyard to get mantles. Okay, so you can't come to my
What?
grave looking
Witchcraft.
for my
Hey,
mantle.
Raymond.
It's gonna be already dispersed and dispatched in the earth. So,
Yes.
so thank you
Yes.
so
That's
much
right.
again for joining us, Coach Peaches. Y'all can get her information at bit.ly/Coach Peaches. Again, that's bit.ly/Coach Peaches. The links are all up and down in the comments. I appreciate everyone who joined on tonight. Good evening, Anitra. I think she jumped off.
Yes.
Dr. Clark, I saw you jump back on. Brenda, we appreciate you staying on, posting those links tonight. I appreciate that. Seems like God sends somebody every week to do that, because I be trying to go back and forth over here. But thank you for that. And anybody, yes,
That
and
seed
the
sowing.
seed sowing. That what she did was sowing the seed. We don't even
That's
we
what I'm
don't even
saying.
look
Yes.
at, we so caught up in money. I need y'all to cut the whole mindset. If it ain't money, it's not a seed. If you give of your time, your
Correct.
talent, your energy, you are sowing a seed into the atmosphere. She said, I'm having
You are.
triplets. Been pregnant too long. Well, we need to push those
Yes.
babies out.
You in the right place.
We need to push them out.
Yes. Right place
Yes,
at the right
yes. I was
time.
glad to see you jumped on the live inside the group, Brenda. So if you get time, go back and
Yes.
listen to what you missed. Because the strategy that I was doing is not just around books that are already out there. So if you got a book,
Correct.
triplets in your belly, we can get you a strategy for every triplet. And we for every triplet. Did I say
Yes.
for every triplet?
Every one of them. You're right. You said it right for every one of those triplets.
For every triplet, we gonna get a strategy. So we're gonna come on every
Yes.
week, and then actually next week, Coach Peaches, if you could be ready to kind of bounce off of me with doing those strategies, it's really a
Absolutely.
simple, concept, but that is all in marketing. Because I talk so much about it
Right.
don't make sense to put a book out and you don't market it. But you
Right.
absolutely have to have a strategy around your book. Because if you don't, you're gonna put it out, sell it to some family and friends, and it's gonna go on the shelf like mine did years ago. So you've got to
Mm.
develop a strategy. You got to know
Wow.
who your audience is. You got to know their spending habits. You got to know when they're buying, when
Mm-hmm.
you got to know all of that. So join us over in the
Yeah.
IBG Writers Group. We got people joining us weekly. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited about the last two people that came into the group. Visit us in the IBG Writers Group, or like our Facebook page, IBG Publications. And you can also visit us on the web, ibgpublications.com. If you're looking for a life course /online courses. We also just recently launched the IBG Development School, and the course I've been talking about on Toxic Ties, it is now available for sale for the very low price of $29. So go ahead and get out there, get registered for that course. I'm going to be uploading some more courses on business startup, just coaching, just a whole lot of information. Like she said, we got to get it out. We got to push this stuff out. So God bless y'all. Thank you
Right.
for joining us here on the Working Wednesdays broadcast. We will be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard
Yes.
Time. God bless y'all, and thank you so much for joining tonight. And God bless
Bless
you,
you.
Coach Peaches. God bless. You're
Thank you for
welcome.
having
Have a
me.
good
God
night,
bless.
everybody.